Coming up, the historic Rimerton Mill may be torn down, a follow-up on the recent murder of a Lakeland teenager,
and the recently arrested anti-government Georgia militia are officially charged. Your News Valdosta starts right now. Welcome to News Valdosta. I'm Ebony Dennis.
And I'm Rusty Wrights. The majority of the historic Rimerton Mill complex will be demolished and converted into a park after the City Council gave the mill's owner the go-ahead for demolition during Monday evening's regular session. The City of Rimerton gave 45 days for a group of people who are trying to save the mill to come up with a viable option for everything but the iconic smokestack will come down. City officials said they would like to save the mill, which was the reason Rimerton was built in the first place, but the financial burden for such a small city is just too great. If the Preservation Committee cannot find a way to save the mill in 45 days, the mill will be torn down to make a way for a new city park.
Prosecutors from Southeast Georgia have filed charges against 5 more men connected to an anti-government militia group led by current and former Army personnel at Fort Stewart. According to District Attorney Tom Durden, the charges against them include theft, burglary, and vehicular break-in. The crimes were allegedly committed in order to obtain funding for the militia group. Last month, charges were filed against 4 other Fort Stewart Army soldiers in connection with the December murders of a former member of the militia and his girlfriend. Prosecutors say Michael Rourke and his girlfriend Tiffany York were killed in order to keep the militia's plan secret. The anti-government group had among its plans the bombing of a park fountain in Savannah, the poisoning of apple crops in Washington state, and the overthrow of the government of the United States.
Childhood hero from comics, Batman, seems to be more of a villain in real life. At around 10 o'clock last night, a police officer was escorting an employee from Captain D's restaurant to an automatic teller machine when the officer heard a strange noise from a nearby air conditioning unit. As the officer checked out the area, a man dressed as Batman popped out of the bushes, pointing a gun at the officer. The policeman proceeded to fire 1 shot and the masked man fled. Police say no one was injured.
Lakeland authorities continue to investigate the murder of 16-year-old Jaquez Mosley as the community attempts to recover from the brutal tragedy. News Valdosta's Cam Copeland has more.
Lakeland authorities are currently investigating the death of 16-year-old Jaquez Mosley, who was stabbed to death at a bus stop by 2 of his 9th grade cousins while standing up for his sister. While Mosley was pronounced dead at Lewis Smith Memorial Hospital, the 2 suspects are expected to face strict sentences as the family is seeking justice.
So here we are, we have this major charge and these young group of people that although they are still alive, at this point they will suffer the consequences of a very, very serious crime. So as a result of that, we continue to need the village idea that it takes a village to raise children. We do need the parents, we need the teachers, and just community leaders and community involvement.
While neither Lanier County Central Office or Lanier County High School had any statements, there are many actions the community can take to prevent similar incidents from happening in the future.
It's a dual effort. It's not just one working, it's not just the community working on behalf of the child, it's not just the school working on behalf of the child. They both have to work together. And that's how we will reduce the number of our children. I would hope eliminate the number of children who find themselves through circumstances literally beyond their control, because the damage that's been done prior has never been healed.
Mosley's death has shocked and saddened many students of Lanier County High School, as it may have the potential to enlighten students of the effects of violence and the unfortunate counterproductive consequences of crime. Many throughout the Lakeland community are shocked by the tragic death of Jaquez Mosley. There are many things that the community and schools can and should do to ensure that such a tragic incident does not happen in the future. With News Valdosta, I'm Cam Copeland.
Coming up, Wiregrass Technical College will lay off some of its faculty. The Valdosta Board of Education announces its disapproval of charter schools.
And we'll have a look at the local weather. Stay with us.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday.
Yeah. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday.
Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap the snacks Sunday.
All the healthy children eat well and move a lot. And move a lot. And move a lot. Eat well and move a lot.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day.
Skip a rope Saturday, freeze tag Friday, tap dance Thursday.
Whole grains Wednesday, try a veggie Tuesday. Let's move Monday, split the sweet Sunday.
Eat well and move a lot.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday.
All the healthy children, all the healthy children.
Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
The Lowndes County Board of Education has released a statement this week officially demonstrating its disapproval of the charter school amendment that will be on the November ballot. Both the Lowndes County Board of Education and the Valdosta Board of Education have given their support to a resolution denouncing the new possible amendment, which would give the state legislature the power to set up for-profit charter schools across the state. The Education Board say they believe these schools will take resources away from quality public education institutions and would create a divide in educational opportunities between those who could afford charter school education and those who could not.
Wiregrass Technical College's Valdosta campus is currently going through a reduction in force, or RIF, that will leave 13 employees without jobs and 20 others with demotions and decreased hours. And the RIF was not due to money mismanagement, but rather a combination of declining enrollment and declining state allocations. Wiregrass is doing a few things to help enrollment numbers, in addition to participating in an experiment with the federal Pell Grant program that will possibly make the grants more available to certain students. Wiregrass is also trying to offer more financial aid options.
The South Georgia chapter of the American Red Cross began its observance of National Preparedness Month following its efforts in sending disaster relief in the wake of Hurricane Isaac. Jacob McWhorter has more.
Though 2 weeks have passed since Hurricane Isaac made landfall in Louisiana and Mississippi, relief efforts and cleanup are still underway to assist those displaced by the storm. The South Georgia chapter of the American Red Cross, located here in Valdosta, Georgia, has been playing its part in sending relief to those affected in flooded areas.
When a national disaster happens like Isaac, what we do is call out our volunteers and see if they're available to go on a deployment. And that's what happened last week. Some of our gracious volunteers took time away from their families to go out to the affected states.
Red Cross volunteers were deployed to such areas as Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where they assisted in distributing emergency relief supplies to those displaced by the storm.
The people are getting the relief that they need, and there are a lot of folks that were displaced because of the hurricane.
In an effort to spread awareness on how community members can prepare themselves in the event of a future natural disaster, the Red Cross has been promoting emergency preparedness campaigns to educate those on how to prepare for such an event.
The biggest thing is to have a plan, where you're going to meet, who you're going to contact, where is your family going to meet in an outside area, where you're going to go, what you're going to take with you. That's the big thing, to have a plan and practice the plan. That way you are prepared.
The Red Cross has begun promoting for National Preparedness Month by providing ways community members can better prepare themselves, including a step-by-step instruction on how to develop a personal preparedness kit, and an app that alerts when a hurricane is approaching, as well as providing steps for the user's safety. In observance of National Preparedness Month, the South Georgia chapter of the American Red Cross is encouraging community members to come out and volunteer or to just show their support by spreading awareness for ways they can prepare themselves in a future natural disaster. For the News Valdosta, I'm Jacob McWhorter.
Taking a look at your local weather, today will be partly sunny with a high of 87. There will be a 24% chance of rain with a low of 68 this evening.
Coming up, Hayhira dedicates a brand new emergency medical station.
And Congressman Jack Kingston meets with Valdosta officials in Washington, D.C. Stay with us.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already out playing him. The odds of this gentle lad winning the Junior World Golf Championships at the age of 14, 1 in 16 million. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice, 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to News Valdosta. I'm Ebony Dennis.
And I'm Rusty Wrights. Community members gathered this week to honor the dedication of the new emergency medical station in Hayhira. Hayhira Mayor Wayne Bullard and Fire Chief Dwight Bennett led the dedication with brief statements commending the first responders. Bennett also recalled his past experiences assisting with the 9/11 disaster relief efforts. Attendees of the commemoration ceremony took a tour of the new facility and got a first-hand look at its $50,000 in improvements. The renovations cost the city a total of $135,000.
Republican Congressman Jack Kingston welcomed a delegation of officials from the city of Valdosta to the nation's capital recently to discuss issues affecting the city and the region. Among the issues discussed were infrastructure funding, proposals to increase the collection of state and local sales taxes on internet purchases, and regulatory issues impacting cities.
Middle-class families continue to suffer in the aftermath of the recent recession, and the poverty rate has fallen slightly according to the U.S. Census Bureau data released Wednesday. Income inequality widened as the highest income echelon experienced a jump, while those in the middle class saw income shrink. Meanwhile, the national poverty rate eased down to 15% in 2011, down slightly from just over 15% last year. More than 46 million people fell below the poverty line last year. The poverty threshold for a family of 4 was $23,021. Most experts were expecting an increase in poverty, but the census officials said a rise in the number of people working full-time helped keep the rate in check.
Governor Nathan Deal is asking Georgia teenagers for advice on how to reduce the number of crashes among the state's youngest drivers. Governor Deal, in a statement Monday, said he's forming a governor's commission on teen driving, a board that will include at least 15 members whose ages range from 15 to 19 years old. The commission will be handled by the governor's Office of Highway Safety and will report to the governor with strategies to educate teen drivers on hazards such as texting while driving and driving drunk. Harris Blackburn, director of the Highway Safety Office, says no one can advise our state on how to reach teenagers better than teenagers. The deadline for comment to the commission is September 20th.
Thanks for watching News Valdosta. I'm Rusty Wrights.
And I'm Ebony Dennis. Have a great day.
So are we supposed to be talking right now? Yeah, okay.